Now that we have created the AI agent, it's time to look at the connected functions. As mentioned, we have three, and we can see them on the bottom here, where we will have the cal book appointment, cancel appointment, capture the user details, and also reschedule the appointment. First of all, the first section is capture the user details. And if we take a look here, then we will see that we are capturing a few user parameters, user details. We are going to capture the full name, going to capture the email, the phone number. And if we take a look at the first section, we have named this the exact same as we have mentioned inside the AI agent prompt in the previous video, just to be consistent and to ensure that it is being triggered properly. Inside the description, we have a few things set. This function is to capture the user details in order to be able to book the appointment in our system. We need full name, email, phone number. And the last one is more so to determine the user's time zone. We have something inside the connected workflow under the fourth section, which we will go over as well. But this is needed to determine the correct time zone in order to display the available time slots in the user's format. With each user parameter, we need to check if we already have the value saved. If yes, then register it directly and continue to the next question. When all parameters have been captured, then trigger the function call. So that means that once we captured the full name, the email, and the phone number, then the fourth section needs to be triggered. Once we press generate, we get a specific function prompt, which we adjusted a little bit. And as you can see, these are the steps. So firstly, capture the user's full name. Before asking, check if we have a valid value. We registered username. So we are calling the system field. And the reason why we are doing this is because we have an option to toggle on the memory. But that means that the user must have an active conversation with the AI agent to see if any of the parameters have already been included inside that chat history. So that excludes that a potential existing user that was a bot user before entering the AI agent might already have certain values that the AI agent is not aware of. So what we are going to do is we are going to add that towards this overview. So first, check the user's details for the full name. We registered username. If this is empty or contains guest, and guest happens when a user interacts on the web chat widget, you are asked to ask the user for the full name. If it has a valid name, then directly save it under the parameter full name. Again, we are just going to explicitly mention the parameters, the functions, to be able to provide more consistency. Once captured, then be sure to save it under the parameter full name. When saved, move on to the email question. So once the full name has been saved, check if we have the user's email registered. We registered, and then the system field email. If this is empty, and that is also the reason why we are doing it between double quotes, that is a good way to indicate a certain value within a certain section. If this is empty, then ask for the email and save it under the parameter name email. If this has value, directly save it under the parameter value email. Once saved, move on to the phone number question. So under the phone number question, once the email has been saved, check if we have the user's phone number. We registered, then system field phone. If this is empty, then ask the user for their phone number and save it under the parameter name phone number. If this has value, directly save it under the parameter name phone number. So we don't have to ask it again. Once saved, trigger the function call, and the function call will then trigger this workflow. And if we take a look under the workflow itself, we will have the following. So the first step is to go with determining the user's time zone. We do this by phone number using an AI task, then set the end date of which we want to fetch the time slots for. So if we go towards the AI task, then we have a determined time zone. So if we're going to take a look there, you are determined the time zone of the user by looking at the phone number. You need to output the time zone in this format, region and then city. If we go back towards that flow, then you will see inside this task, then we only input the phone number, right? So if we only input the phone number, then we will get something like this. And if we take a look now, test request, as you can see, we have a match time zone Europe Budapest. So we're going to save that by fetching the data.matched time zone and then save it to a user field called time zone. Once we have done that, the next step is to set a custom field for end time. And if we're going to take a look inside, we are going to set the custom field end time to today. Plus, we are going to go with the operation add days, and we're going to add 6 days. You can also do 7, 14, whatever you like to. We just set it to 6 days for now. Then inside the get available time slot, we are going with fetching the time slot based on these data that we captured. So if we are going to take a look, you can also search by find available time slots by event slug. We went with a direct event type ID, so you can basically replace this with your own or save it inside of a bot field and then call it and then basically insert the bot field here. Then if we take a look under the start time, we're just going with the system field today, which will give this kind of format. And then the end time, of course, we added 6 days. And we can also add 6 days here, for example, in order to be able to add more time slots. And if we want to extend this, we could also say, okay, we want to add a few more extra days, and we can go up till 10th of June. Then for the user's time zone, we are going to use that custom field. And for the test purpose, we also entered something. So if we're going to test a request, you will see that we get a lot of time slots back. So we have one for the 30th of May. We have one for 2nd of June. And if we scroll down, then we will have a lot more, right? So since we are needing to save this all of these time slots, we can do so under the data and then save it towards the cal available time slots. Now, if you get an error here mentioning you are exceeding the 20,000 character limit, then you might want to reduce the end time. So might want to reduce the number of total days that you want to fetch time slots for, because this might exceed the 20,000 characters. Okay, so if that happens, if you receive that error, just go with something a little bit more condensed. So for example, we're only going to fetch 11 days or only 7 days for that matter. So that way, if we test a request now, then you will get a little bit less of time slots available. You can still save it and then present it towards the user. So once that is done, then we are going with what is called an AI function result action. This means that we can now feed the information that we received from this workflow back towards the AI agent. And we're doing so under the actions, and then we will have the AI function result. And it's just a really simple message. The following time slots are available, and then we are just going with this JSON field, which we saved the time slots from inside of this specific action. This is how we are going to display the details towards the user. In the next video, we're going to talk over creating the appointment booking based on the chosen date and time from the user.